We will be reviewing make or buy decisions in this tutorial. A make or buy is a classic decision about whether to engage a vendor to do it yourself. And the main strategy is to look at what costs are going to go away and then compare it to what you would have to pay to engage the vendor to do it. We have to remember in these problems to ignore common costs. Those are costs that have been allocated to this particular activity but won't go away when the activity ceases, because it's not really a cost of that activity. So freeze this frame and read this problem, and then we'll do it together. Notice the table didn't give you the cost per unit. It gave you the annual cost and the number of units, so you can divide it out or work with it in total. What's going away are the materials, the labor, the variable overhead, and a portion of the fixed overhead that they tell you, the $15,000. So you would be able to eliminate $115,000 in your organizational costs if you engage this vendor. And then you compare that to what you would have to pay the vendor, which would be the $125,000, the $1.25 times the 100,000 units. Can you think of qualitative reasons to accept this vendor offer even though it will reduce your income by $10,000? Freeze your frame and try to write a few down. Here's a few I came up with. The vendor quality might be better. The vendor might be more reliable. You may want to train this vendor for future needs. These are just a few. You may have come up with some. What you don't want is quantitative reasons. Those are ones that can be reduced to dollars. You want qualitative reasons. Now I'm going to change a fact. The freed up space can be rented to another company for $45,000 per year. Now, what do you recommend for the decision? Well, that $45,000 reduces what it's going to cost you to use the vendor. So now the economics have changed and your decision is to use the vendor. Now, can you think of qualitative reasons to reject the vendor offer even though now it would improve your earnings? Here's a few I came up with. Maybe there's a particular secret about creating this wheel and you don't want to share it. Maybe you're not sure that the vendor's quality is going to be quite as good as yours. You may be concerned about being out of stock or delivery reliability if you're not making it yourself. Let me ask the question a different way. What is the highest price Talbot should be willing to pay the outside vendor and still improve the profit decision? What do you think? Freeze your frame. This is a little tricky. You can pay up to $1.60 because 45 cents of that is being offset by the rent. Do you see it? That's a little tricky. All right, freeze your frame and work this one, and then we'll talk about it together. We're going to reject because it is going to reduce our operating income. The costs that are going to go away are the $47.80 that I've listed there, and it would cost us $50.10. Here's another one, freeze your frame. This one has a different twist to it. So here we would accumulate what's going to go away, the $49.80, and then we would consider the $59.20 that we need to pay the vendor, but then reduce it by these profits we're able to generate by the excess capacity. So if you accept this offer, your operating income is going to go down. Can you think of a reason to do it anyway? Here are a few I thought of. You want to develop a market for this other product. You want to train the vendor to support surges in your demand. The vendor quality might be better or more reliable. So now you've studied relevant costs and make or buy decisions. Go try some of the other digital tutors and work on your skills.